I was trying to look out and see if I recognize anybody here in this class, but my son graduated last year, a pretty large class. I'm pretty sure you guys are a little bit smaller, but still big. So, so welcome to your Iowa Big school year. So it's exciting. I hope you've heard some great partner pitches so far and got some ideas churning and things like that. So is it just today and tomorrow?
Yep.
Yesterday.
Today.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. So last year, we had the honor and privilege to work with 3 to 4 students on building us a new website. They kind of took us out of the mid-90s and brought us up to, a more modern website that's more interactive and things like that. So that was our experience with Iowa Big last year, which was fantastic. We also were able to help get some technology for Iowa Big. Some of the teachers came to us and said, on partner projects in the community, our students are going to need some of these things. So the virtual reality, drone, camera, some other computers, great stuff. So I'll just quickly explain a little bit about the Linn Mar Foundation, who we are, what we do, and kind of what we're needing help with this year. So assuming I can just run this laptop. Okay. All right. So I have, my theme here is little kids. You guys are the big kids, but as you know, we support, we support K-12 education. So a foundation, there's many different types of foundations, but we were established in 1985 to help support the district to fill in the gaps in our budgets. So an elementary school may need a new STEM makerstation. And so they can come to us and ask us for those funds. So they come to our board meetings, they fill out grant applications, and that's what we're able to do. We are a nonprofit for the district. We operate separately, however. So I'm not an employee of the Linn Mar Community School District. I'm an employee of the Linn Mar Foundation, but all of the monies that we raise are channeled back into the classrooms. Real quickly, these are some of this is the best part of my job, is saying yes to our teachers and administrators, counselors, anything. We replaced all the aging microscopes at the high school 2 years ago now. So we took those ones out that were 25 plus years old and got all brand new microscopes. Archery, if you guys remember archery from middle school? Maybe that was just past when you guys, yeah? Okay, so the PE teachers came to us and said we'd like to start archery, and they're hopefully going to get an archery club. We bring in Orchestra Iowa every year, so all of our K-5 kids get to experience a live orchestra. This is our national author program called Stories Alive. I know you guys remember that because you've been through it every year since kindergarten, essentially, if you've been a Linn Mar student for a while. And then this little girl, I love her expression. She's watching Opera Iowa, which is another full program that we're able to bring in and experience for these kids. Some other things, we've done some outdoor gardens of late, so the students are learning about gardening and sustainability. We've got 3D printers now, and I think we've got 5 at each middle school. We've got 3 at the high school, 1 here.
Yep.
One here. So we were buying 3D printers all last year, so that was kind of fun. These little maker stations are really fun at the elementary level. They range from Legos to more complex Osmos and things like that. So again, saying yes is the best thing. We buy used instruments for students that want to participate in band and orchestra, but may have some financial obstacles to do so. So we're able to do that. And then I think this young man is working on some 3D design there. Again, that's the best part of our job. We do fundraising in order to put these funds back in the schools. So what do we need help with right now? My job is kind of it runs the gamut. And what I really want to do and accomplish, we started on it last year with a couple students towards the end of their senior year. So we got a little bit of a start on it, and it's basically our project called Linn Mar Story, Celebrating the Past and Embracing the Future. That's the name we came up with. And How many have gone through Linn Mar all of your years? Majority? Okay. So even way before that, the district was established basically from 17 one-room schoolhouses. Most people don't understand how small we used to be and how rural we used to be. A lot of times when you get into the elementary and middle school level, you're thinking, oh, okay, we've always been this big. We've always had this many schools. No. And today is a very important part of Linn Mar history. Hopefully our community is going to support the bond referendum that's up for vote today. And that would allow us to build 2 new intermediate schools. Back in '99 we had intermediate schools, if Excelsior used to be one. So we're going back to that model, hopefully, if the voters approve that. And we will be a K-4 district at the elementary level. Intermediate will be 5-6. Our middle schools will be 7-8, and our high school will remain 9-12. We will be building an 8th elementary here very soon. You guys will have moved on to other things, but we will be building an 8th elementary. And then there is talk of what we'll do at the high school level. That's on the strategic plan here in 5 years. So exciting stuff, so we'll need to capture all of that, of course. But way back, prior to your time here, this is a picture of the original high school as it was built. So we actually had farmers clear the land because the district didn't have enough money to pay for that. So farmers showed up with their tractors and literally cleared the land for the high school. So that opened in 1959. The original part you see here is gone. It's now the new North Pride, or Pride Rock entrance. So that's gone, but this is an example of a one-room schoolhouse that we had. Some of them still exist in our district, but they're actually now back to being homes. So that's kind of neat. I visited with the class of 1968 last month when they came back for their reunion, and they know who lives in each house. So that's kind of a neat part of the history. And then Armstrong Field, you guys might remember that. This is a picture of when it's flooded, which happened quite often. So that's why we ended up building the stadium that you see now. So I talked about us having a start to this project. So last year, we have some historical documents that really just are not in a user-friendly format. They were actually produced in newspaper form, and really what we need to do is bring it digitally. And it can be a little bit time-consuming. My job consists of, my time is best spent out there developing the relationships with the companies and the people that want to support our students. And I'll be honest, I don't have the ability or the, I guess, the skill set in order to bring something into the digital format that's interesting for our alumni, our community, our staff, and our students to have. We'd like to have this on our website. We'd like to have it in video form. We'd like to have that wonderful drone that we were able to purchase flown over all of our campuses and capturing what Linn Mar looks like today. So then we can go to our historical aerial shot versus today in these digital pieces. So we think that that'll be very interesting when we bring our alumni groups back, 8 to 10 of them every year. They're very interested in what we're doing now as a district, but they really want to see kind of what it was like and have those remembrances, and we think that this will accomplish it. A little bit on our enrollment. Back in 1949, there were 354 kids in our entire district. You guys have 480 in your class. So 300, think about that. And then it cut off here, but this only goes to 2008, where there were 6,490 kids, and we're almost at 8,000. So you can see our enrollment just keeps changing, keeps growing. I think this shot is 1963 maybe. So, and it's hard to see, I know, but we have just a very small little part of the high school showing. And this is even outdated, this is 8 years old. The aquatic center's not even on there yet. So we need to capture all of these that are in various formats. And I need somebody that's interested in creative storytelling, because the video and the we're going to have voiceovers and things like that we're going to want to talk about in a very short sound burst, because that's how people want to be communicated with, kind of what's been happening in our district over the last 7 years. Speaking of which, next year, 2019, is our 70th year anniversary. So perfect timing to get this done and kind of out there in the community. We have quite a few alumni that are interested in speaking to students. So we know you guys can handle those interviews, whether they're in person. A lot of our alumni are across the country, basically, so you might be doing some Skype interviews with them. And they want to tell the Linn Mar story as well. So you could gain a lot of, yeah, some of them, they'll talk to you for a long time. But some of that student life or that feeling back then, when we went through merger votes with Marion Independent, that was a very interesting time in Linn Mar history. So it never ended up happening, but we came to the table 3 times and nobody could agree to merge. So that is a big part of our history that we need to capture. So storytelling, digital format, being able to do something really cool via video, that's kind of what we're looking for. What else, Becky? It's important for them to...
Well, you get
or
some
what
history
questions
too.
do you have? Nope.
It's kind of fun digging through some of that stuff.
Yep.
Just
The students that started at it, we have, everything's kept in these huge, big 3-ring binders. So they were finding some stuff that, maybe wouldn't fly in today's world, that would be put on buttons, for example, and things like that. So after we complete this, what we'd like to do with Dr. Gustafson at the high school is create decade cases. That might be a year or 2 down the road. And we want to capture some of the Linn Mar history, Letterman jackets. The first Palms uniform, they started with nine ladies in Palms, and I think that was most of the class. And they sewed their own uniforms. So she wants to donate her first Palms uniform, things like that. So that's really kind of where we need, I would say, time commitment for students. To get rolling, to get a plan, would be a couple hours a week. And I would really be more a soundboard. Last year on the website, we had to meet a little bit more to go over what we wanted content-wise, but it can meet weekly if need be. And it would most likely start after October 2nd. Would be kind of our time frame. Well, thank you very much for your attention. I think we have another speaker.